guys, how's it going? It's Space Cowboy here. Welcome back on into the Space Cowboy Show. I know it's been quite some time since I last uploaded, and I'm going to talk about a bit more about that later on in the video. Today, we have a huge game for these Dallas Cowboys. Why? Because they're traveling to Ford Field in Detroit to take on the Detroit Lions in a massive game for both of these teams. The Cowboys at 6-5-1, riding a 3-game winning streak, taking on the Detroit Lions at 7-5, trying to regain some control of their season and try to make a playoff push. So both of these squads, they're in a prime position to move into that 8th seed and get further and further closer to a playoff berth. We'll talk about more of the stakes in this video as well. If you haven't done so already, please make sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. That'd be greatly appreciated. So ever since the bye week, the Dallas Cowboys have been playing very good football on both sides of the ball. Specifically when you look at how they've been able to stop the run more effectively, and on top of that, we're starting to see the defense really gel. But what has accelerated this particular growth of the defense has been the trades you made for Quinnen Williams and Logan Wilson, and the big one being Quinnen Williams. He has been a game changer for the Dallas Cowboys on the defensive side of the ball, and now with him in that rotation with Kenny Clark and Osa Odighizuwa, it's really helped the Cowboys out with stopping the run, but more importantly, now we're starting to see that pass rush develop and really get to the quarterback as some of these other edge rushers are starting to really find their stride. Now, on the offensive side of the ball, this team has been humming. You look at how they've been able to run the ball, pass the ball, anything that they want to do, they've been able to do it. And a lot of that has to deal with the fact that George Pickens has turned into this superstar that a lot of people have been writing off because of what happened in Pittsburgh. George Pickens has always had the talent to be a superstar wide receiver. He has the body, the skill set that any team would want in a number one wide receiver. And I think it is imperative that the Dallas Cowboys keep him long term. And I think that's what's going to end up happening for the sake of the team, because you look at what him and Lamb have been able to do, and it's just been something special. Not only that, it's been helping your quarterback have one of the best seasons he's had of his career. You know, you look at how he's leading the league in passing. He's second in touchdown passes. And it's just funny how, like, he has the one interception, he gets out of the way, and then he just plays lights out. And I think that that's what's been really helping this team out, is that when you see how the Cowboys have played outside of that bye week, it's definitely felt like a night and day switch, and the Cowboys' playoff hopes are alive. And even the NFC East has a possibility of opening up. Now, if you are trying to keep track of where the Cowboys are at in this particular playoff race, the Dallas Cowboys are currently sitting at a spot where, with that tie, they're right above Carolina, and if they get a win tonight against Detroit, they move into that 8th seed and put them on the cusp of a playoff berth. Now, they're going to need some of the teams in front of them to lose, but knowing how the schedule is set up for a lot of the teams that are in that wild card spot, there is a high likelihood that the Dallas Cowboys will make the playoffs, especially considering the fact you look at their schedule after this particular game. You see what they got. They got Detroit, Minnesota, Los Angeles, the Chargers, Washington, and New York. And so you see they have 2 home games after this game in Detroit. Then they have to go on the road to Washington and then to MetLife to close out the year. I personally believe if they take care of business tonight, they're going to run the table and get to 11-5-1. That's just how I'm feeling about this particular Cowboys team. They have done very well outside of that bye week, and it's not like the same stuff we've been seeing. And I know we kind of say that a lot in Cowboy land, but let's really think about this. You know, you come out of that bye week, you take care of a team that you should be taking care of in the Las Vegas Raiders. You know, you dominate them 33-16. The score could have been worse, is what it is. You have a 21-point comeback against the reigning Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles, and the fact that you held them scoreless for 40-plus minutes is something to be told. And then you turn around on short notice and you end up beating the Kansas City Chiefs at home on Thanksgiving. That's a pretty impressive feat, especially with this particular Cowboys squad. Now, I did talk about it in a previous video about how first-time head coaches typically improve the win total by a team by a total of 2. Last year, the Cowboys had 7 wins. Now we're looking to see them go to 9 wins to see if that holds true. And it looks like the Cowboys, assuming that things trend in the right direction still, even with a loss versus the Lions, I still believe they'll get there. Now, For the NFC East, if you're keeping an eye on that, the Dallas Cowboys just need the Eagles to lose 2 more times, and if they win out, they will win the NFC East. And it's crazy to say that the division is in play, and again, that could end tonight. Who knows? But it's something to keep in mind as the Eagles are kind of going through a rough patch as well. So, with that being said, with this particular game, who do I think is going to win, and why do I think they're going to win? Now, for the Cowboys, they don't have Tyler Guyton. They're probably not going to have Jadeveon Clowney, and they're not going to have Trevon Diggs. Now, the other big thing when it comes to Detroit is we're not sure if Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to play. But the other thing is when we look at what Detroit has done over the past couple of weeks, they have not looked so hot after their bye week. They've gone 2-3. They started the season off 5-2, and they really should be 6-6 if not for the overtime win against the New York Giants. It just looks very wonky for them. Offensively, they'll have moments where their run game comes alive and really kill you. But then there are other moments where that pass game just can't get going, or there's questionable decisions that they're making. And then defensively, it's just they can't stop anything at the moment, or they'll have moments where they do get a stop, but it's just not enough. And so I really do believe that if the Dallas Cowboys want to win this game, they just have to shut down the run game of the Detroit Lions. I'm not saying that's going to be an easy task whatsoever. But if they manage to do that, it's going to help them go a long way. And the Cowboys have done a fantastic job of making teams one-dimensional, especially over the past 3 weeks with the addition of Quinnen Williams and how the defense has started to gel together. So, do I believe the Dallas Cowboys are going to win this game? The Cowboys aren't favored in this game. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion that the Dallas Cowboys are going to win tonight. I think that looking at where they're at and how they've been operating on the offensive side of the ball, defensively they're getting better, and they're adding pieces back, and they're getting into the groove. I think it's a part of they're getting hot at the right time, and now there are conversations to be had of, do you want to play this Cowboys team if they do make the playoffs? And it's interesting to have that conversation because we've never really had that with the Cowboys really ever, maybe except for 2018. But I would rather start getting hot at the right time, which is around now, as opposed to being hot early on in the year. So the Cowboys, once again, going to have another playoff-like environment because of the fact of, hey, if you lose this game, you're probably not going to end up making the playoffs. But there still is an outside chance you can. But winning this game would go a long way to increasing those playoff odds, getting that crucial tiebreaker over the Detroit Lions, and continue to climb in the standings to hopefully get that spot, whether it be an NFC East title or a wild card berth. So with that, I'm going to take the Cowboys to win tonight. I really like how they've been playing football. I think that with Detroit, they're so far inconsistent. And on top of that, we keep hearing about how they're still hurt about that game back in 2023 with the whole 2-point conversion thing. I just really don't care about that anymore. I think that the fact that they're still harping on it, considering like, okay, you made the NFC Championship game that year and you're still concerned about a regular season game that really, I understand that had some merit to it because it was a huge game for both teams for, seeding and stuff like that. But it is what it is at this point, to just be honest with you. So I'm going to just leave it at that. And before I let you go, I did want to talk about a bit about where I've been, what's going on, as I believe I owe you guys an explanation of what's been going on. Now, there are a couple factors as to why I've been away on this hiatus for so long, and the first one is that me and my friend Chris over at Cowboys Beat have been partaking in a big project to really transform what we're trying to do, and that is building up our own media company, Crushman Media. This has been a huge project, in fact, the largest project that I've ever partaken in my entire life as to what we're trying to do. And we have done a lot of work to really put the best content out there for different types of niches out there, whether it be college football, NBA stuff, regular sports content, boxing, you name it. Again, this is not an advertisement whatsoever. If you want to go check it out, that's fine. But I wanted to let you guys know, first off, that's one reason as to why I've been away, because I've been editing a lot of those videos. I've been doing a lot of the thumbnail designs to help build up the channels to get to a point where they have respectable followings, and we've done a fantastic job, especially in the month of November, to do that. Now, the other reason as to why I've been away for so long that impacted me the most has been the Marshawn Nealon situation. When you're someone like myself that struggles with mental health on a regular basis, it's it hurts down to my core when you see those mental health struggles bleed into what you would consider the escapes or things that help you improve your mental health. And it's just a shame that there's still a taboo of how people feel about mental health in this country, where you can't talk about these things without being looked at a certain way. And, I really want to hone down that it's okay not to feel okay. And if you do need help, dial 988. I've had to do it. I would recommend that other people would do it if you're having those particular issues. But that it just really messed me up. And I really hope that if you do have issues, please go seek help. I really, really sincerely mean that, because I just don't want to see things like that happen. And I know I'm a bit scatterbrained and I apologize about that, but it's just situations like that hurt me here. And it's just a lot. And knowing with where I'm at, and on top of that, just going through a lot of things, it's really, really hard to do content creation when you you're going through things. And with where I'm at, the job that I work, I don't have the chance to really talk to anybody, and this is part of why I'm very big on mental health, because for me, I work 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. I don't really talk to many people outside of close friends and family members, but I don't really interact with them as much. And it's really sucked the soul out of me, to say the least. And, you know, with what I've been embarking on, there is a part of me that wants this, what I'm doing now, to be a full-time job for me. But again, because of things outside of my control, it's hard to really post a whole lot. So I'm trying to embark on a journey where, given my current situation, and I've talked with my buddy Chris, who's been hyping me up, who's been really impactful as to what I want to do with my life. I want to try and make this my full-time gig. Not the show, but Crushman Media as a whole. And this isn't an advertisement or anything like that again. It's just I understand where my passions lie, and I'm just trying to figure out how I can get there. And I think that for me, knowing that I can't talk with you guys or do things because I'm either exhausted, my mental health state just isn't there, it really hurts. So if you want to help me finish this story that I'm embarking on, which is to try and do this full time, you can help me out. You don't have to do anything crazy. I'm just saying, if you just watch the videos, if you comment, that's all I need. Um, so I apologize if it got a bit too sappy at the end, but I wanted to at least talk to you guys to let you know where I'm at. And however you feel about me, I don't, it is what it is. But I just want to let you know that I'm still around. I'm still here. I'm okay. Um, but yeah, um, just that's where I'm at. So hopefully we'll just be uploading a bit more. Again, I appreciate every single one of you. I love all of you. Um, and I hope to see you in the next one, hopefully. So, all right, guys, have a good one. Bye.